Once upon a time, there was a deer that lived in a lush and tranquil forest. The deer was content with what it had: shelter under the trees, abundant food, and fresh water. It enjoyed strolling through the forest, admiring the flowers, listening to the birdsong, breathing the pure air, and greeting other animals. The deer was a sociable, kind, and generous creature that got along well with everyone. One day, while wandering through the forest, it stumbled upon a path it didn't recognize. Curiosity piqued, the deer decided to follow it. The path led to a more remote and solitary area of the forest, where there was a huge grey rock. From the rock flowed a trickle of water, forming a small puddle. The deer approached to drink and was amazed by the taste of the water. It was sweet, crystal clear, and refreshing. The deer thought it was the best water it had ever tasted and decided that from then on it would only drink from that spring. The deer began visiting the spring every day, multiple times a day. It became so addicted to the water from the spring that it stopped exploring the forest and interacting with other animals. It only thought about drinking more and more water, believing it would make it happier. However, what the deer didn't know was that the water from the spring had a magical property. The more one drank, the thirstier they became. Thus, the deer entered a vicious cycle of dissatisfaction and anxiety that consumed it little by little. Every time it drank from the spring, the deer felt a sense of pleasure and relief, but also emptiness and distress. It wanted more and more water, but never felt satisfied. It felt lonely and sad, yet it couldn't stop drinking. It forgot about its friends, family, hobbies, and dreams, living only for the spring. The other animals of the forest noticed that the deer had changed. It was no longer seen or heard in the forest, and it wasn't felt nearby. Some worried about it and went to look for it, while others were glad for its absence and sought to take advantage of it. Among the latter was the fox. The fox was a cunning, selfish, and wicked animal who was always plotting to deceive others. The fox learned that the deer had found a magical spring that gave delicious water, but also made one dependent and vulnerable. The fox thought it could take advantage of the situation and headed to the spring. There, it found the deer drinking desperately. The fox approached it with a fakey smile and said, "Hello, friend deer. What are you doing here? It's been a long time since I've seen you in the forest." "Hello, friend fox," replied the deer. "I'm drinking from this spring that has the richest water I've ever tasted. Do you want to try it?" "Of course, friend deer, I would love to try it, but tell me, why are you drinking so much? Isn't a little enough for you?" "No, friend fox. This water is so good that I can't stop drinking it. It makes me feel good, but it also makes me feel bad. It quenches my thirst, but also gives it to me. I don't understand." "I feel the same way, friend deer. Let me tell you the truth. This water is not normal, but magical. It has a power that traps and enslaves you. The more you drink, the more you want, and the more you suffer. This water makes you desire more than you need and takes away your inner peace." "What do you say, friend fox? How do you know that? What can I do to free myself from this water, friend deer? I know everything. I am the smartest and wisest fox in the forest, and I will help you break free from this water. But in exchange, you have to give me something. What do you want me to give, friend fox?" "I want you to give me your skin. Your skin is so soft, so beautiful, so warm. If you give it to me, I will tell you how to stop drinking from this spring." "Are you crazy, friend fox? How can I give you my skin? How can I live without my skin, friend deer? Don't be foolish. Your skin is of no use to you. What benefits you is this water, but this water harms you. I can remove the harm, but you have to give me your skin. It's a fair deal, friend deer. Think about it." The deer pondered, confused and scared. It didn't know whether to believe the fox or not, whether to give up its skin or not. It didn't know what to do. Meanwhile, the fox waited impatiently, hoping the deer would fall into its trap. At that moment, a wise owl appeared, flying through the sky. The owl noticed what was happening and perched on a nearby branch. The owl knew the deer and the fox. It knew that the deer was a good and noble animal, deceived by the spring water, and that the fox was a bad and cruel animal trying to take advantage of the deer. The owl decided to intervene and help the deer. With a clear and firm voice, the owl said, "Friend deer, don't listen to the fox. The fox is lying to you. The fox doesn't want to help you, but to rob you. The fox doesn't know how to free you from the water, but how to take your skin. The fox is not your friend, but your enemy. The deer was surprised to hear the owl. It raised its head and saw the owl on the branch. It recognized the owl as a wise and respected animal who always spoke the truth. The deer asked, "Who are you, friend owl? How do you know all this?" "I am the owl, the guardian of the forest. I know everything because I see everything, and I will tell you the truth. This water is not normal but magical. It has a power that traps and enslaves you. The more you drink, the more you want, and the more you suffer. This water makes you desire more than you need and takes away your inner peace." "What do you say, friend owl? How do you know that?" "What can I do to free myself from this water, friend deer?" "I know everything because I have experienced everything. I also drank from this spring a long time ago when I was young and reckless, and the same thing happened to me as to you. I became addicted to the water and forgot about everything else. But one day, I realized my mistake and decided to stop drinking. It was very difficult, but I succeeded. And since then, I am the owl you see now. Old but wise, ugly but happy." "What did you do, friend owl? How did you stop drinking, friend deer?" "I will tell you, but I don't ask for anything in return. I only ask that you listen to me and believe me. What I did was the following. I stopped drinking from this spring and started drinking from other places again. At first, the water from other places seemed tasteless and boring to me, but gradually I regained the taste and pleasure for water, and I realized that the water from other places was as good or better than that of this spring. Most importantly, it didn't harm me. It nourished me, hydrated me, cleansed me, refreshed me, and brought me back to life. And that's all, friend owl. There's no trick, no secret, no spell. No, friend deer, there's nothing else. There's only one thing, willpower. The willpower to stop drinking from this spring and to start drinking from other places again. The willpower to give up what harms you and to choose what benefits you. The willpower to change your life and to be happy." Friend owl, I believe you, and I thank you. You've opened my eyes and saved my life. I'll follow your advice and I'll stop drinking from this spring. I'll return to my normal life, enjoy the forest, food and water from other places again. I'll make friends again and feel free. I'll learn from my experience and your wisdom, friend dear. I'm glad you believe and thank me. You've made me happy and honored me. I wish you the best and offer you my friendship. And I'll tell you something, you won't regret your decision. You'll see how your life improves and how your happiness increases. The deer and the owl hugged and bid farewell. The deer left the spring and walked away along the path. The owl stayed on the branch watching the fox, who had listened to the entire conversation stunned and empty-handed. He realized his plan had failed, and he wouldn't be able to get the deer's skin. He felt frustrated and angry and left the spring, cursing the owl and the deer. But the deer's story doesn't end here. The deer faced many difficulties in stopping drinking from the spring and returning to its normal life. It had to struggle against its addiction, temptation and weakness. It had to regain its health, joy and confidence. It had to rebuild its friendships, family and dreams. It had to learn to be happy again. And in that journey, the deer wasn't alone. It had the support of a faithful friend who always accompanied, encouraged and inspired it. That friend was the rabbit, who was a cheerful, friendly and brave animal always willing to help others. The rabbit was the deer's best friend. They had known each other since they were young and had shared many adventures and mischiefs. The rabbit cared deeply for the deer and worried about it. When the rabbit learned that the deer had fallen into the trap of the spring, it went to find him and offered its help. The rabbit said, "Friend deer, don't let yourself be deceived by the water of the spring. That water doesn't make you happy, quite the opposite. It makes you desire more than you need and takes away your inner peace. You must stop drinking from that spring and return to your normal life. Only then will you regain your happiness. Thank you for your advice, but it's not as easy as you say. That water is so good that I can't stop drinking it. It makes me feel good, but it also makes me feel bad. I don't know how to stop drinking it, friend rabbit. What can I do?" said the deer. "I'll tell you what you can do. You can count on me. I'll help you stop drinking from that spring. I'll accompany you, encourage you, inspire you. I'll remind you of what you are and what you can be. I'll show you what you have and what you can have. I'll make you laugh and dream. I'm your friend, friend deer. And friends help each other, replied the rabbit. Thank you for your help, but I don't know if I can do it. That water is so strong that it controls me. It's so sweet that it tempts me. It's so magical that it bewitches me. I don't know if I can resist, said the deer. I'll tell you what you can do. You can trust yourself and your willpower. You can remember what the owl told you and what I'm telling you. You can think about all you've lost and all you can regain. You can feel the love of your friends and family. You can see the beauty of the forest and life. You can do it, friend deer. I know you can, said the rabbit. The deer listened to the rabbit's words and felt moved. The rabbit was its best friend, speaking sincerely and affectionately. The deer realized that the rabbit was right and that it had the strength to stop drinking from the spring. Friend rabbit, you're right. I can stop drinking from this spring. I can return to my normal life. I can be happy again. Thank you for your help, friend rabbit. Thank you for your friendship, said the deer. You're welcome. I help you because I care about you. I'm your friend, and friends help each other, replied the rabbit. The deer and the rabbit hugged and smiled. The deer felt more encouraged and determined, while the rabbit felt prouder and happier. They set off for the forest together. Along the way, the deer wasn't alone. It had the support of its faithful friend, the rabbit, who always accompanied, encouraged, and inspired it. The deer also had the support of other animals in the forest who welcomed, respected, and cared for it. The deer also had the support of its own willpower, which guided, sustained, and liberated it. Thus ends the fable of the deer and the spring, a fable that teaches us that the anxiety caused by desiring more than we need enslaves us, and that the willpower that drives us to give up what harms us and choose what benefits us sets us free. It's a fable that invites us to reflect on our own lives and what truly makes us happy. Consider subscribing and liking. I'm the Monk Wisdom.